I knew I forgot something. Well then, scup stream. Salutations, class, and welcome back. Tonight we'll be playing Blazblue, which just recently got a rollback update. This actually happened at a coincidence that there was originally going to be a Blazblue CentralFiction tournament on tonight, regardless. So, I guess everything turned out perfect. Now we have to figure out what exactly we're going to be doing with our character. I've been spending all day in the lab. Now, I'm not expecting to go particularly very far in this tourney, but we will try to get some stuff out of the way, and in the future, even after the tournament, I might try to take a bit of time to go over learning a character, or might introduce some of our viewers here who might not be very familiar with Blazblue to a number of its mechanics. This game is made by Arc System Works, which is the same company responsible for Guilty Gear Strive. Well, the entire Guilty Gear series. So, out of all the characters I've seen so far, my boy of choice would be Kagura here, on the left, giving his little jumps. What makes him unique is he has a number of different stances, each of which come with their own set of attacks to be doing out of it. I do like my characters that have a lot of options, and Kagura here essentially has 9 extra specials. Have a command grab, you have armor, you have a combo extender that's also a side switch, this is an overhead, this is a fast sliding low, and this is another combo extender. This one right here is a combo starter from the front, which we also have a version that crosses up. And then last and most importantly, this dash attack is projectile invincible. He's also a ladies' man. Yes, and so am I. Might be one point that I have a relation to him. He's also very unique among the Blazblue cast in the sense that he is the only character in the entire series that uses charge inputs. The very familiar Flash Kick and very familiar Sonic Boom. Both are excellent specials, which are a little incongruent with the rest of his kit. What's also different with him is he has an aerial special, which uses an upward-down charge motion. This essentially can function as an instant overhead, being able to hit a grounded opponent right after a jump. Like that, very fast. But it can also be cancelled into from his flash kicks. So essentially he has the option to either give them a soft knockdown in the air that they can tech, or get the hard knockdown and continue doing his shenanigans from there. Now the most important part is I'm going to have to figure out the muscle memory to make sure that all of our attacks are working just fine. After all, the combos in this game go on for a very, very long time. Ah, that one's gonna be hard to get done. What's interesting about his moves is that since he has to do the stance cancels, you essentially do one button to get that started, but then you have to delay your second button press so that your actual stance move comes out. So, in order to do one attack, you have to time 2 different button presses. There's a start, and that does get the knockdown. I think the projectile comes out a little bit too early. Allegedly, we can 3C after that and start another combo, so let's see if we can get that down. That's awfully far. Looks like you're a kind of guy. You might like the idea of charge specials, but I'll give you a catch, Broham. Teching works differently in this game. When you are knocked down, you either press a button with a neutral input to stand up normally, or you press down to do a fast get-up that has invulnerability. You can also roll left or right, sort of like Smash Brothers, but you don't roll nearly as far, and don't get nearly as many frames of invincibility. You aren't stuck in the same spot where you get knocked down like in Guilty Gear. Now that sounds all well and good, but that has a specific catch with Kagura. In order for him to get an invincible wake-up, he has to do neutral tech, which expends his charge. So, I know how much you like Leo, Broham, but if you were playing Kagura here, you are not able Let's see. Can we get our opponent to do an attack? Continuously attack. I'm guessing it's just going to be a random. Right, we have a record button. Alright, we can do a... yeah. A 3C should work. I guess it's the left... okay, it's the left stick. That's interesting. And it's only giving us sounds. Wow, I haven't spent much time in the lab here myself. Alright, get ready. And play it back. There we go. So, you'll see how he stood on the ground for a much longer time. That's because we didn't tech. If you tech there, you get the invincibility, but if you hold down like you're charging an input, you do get a faster tech, but it doesn't come with invincibility. So you're not going to be able to get the invincible get-up reversals with him like you can with Leo. Very interesting in his case specifically. There's a number of other characters that can do an invincible DP because they don't have to deal with charge inputs. Let's go ahead and look at what's going on here for the stream matches. Going to look at the announcements. Tourney announcements. Okay, it has not formally started yet, so we still have a few minutes to spend together. Maybe I do need to do that one a little bit later. Hold on, I think we can pick that up. His execution is pretty tight and unconventional. Towards the end it might not be that hard to get out, but it does require some very precise timing. Allegedly, we're supposed to be able to combo after that. Doesn't look like we have nearly enough of a window. Might be something for me to practice in the future. So, game plan we have with Kagura is similar to a number of other characters we play. He has some pretty decent offense, but there's a lot of gaps in his block strings. What he can do that's special is he does play well both offensively and defensively, depending on your matchup. Blazblue's story is confusing, but you can understand it enough. I think it's second to maybe Kingdom Hearts in just how confusing it can be. I know it's an absolute mess. Stream matches are being called right now. We have about 5 minutes. Let's keep an eye out for right when Kagura lands and see if we can do a 3C after that. It's probably a timing that we have to get down with the actual buffer. Almost. We do need to be able to hit them on the way back down though, and he does have different combos either in the corner or at mid-screen, so we will have to pay attention to that. Does knock them back pretty far. Guess we're not going to be too concerned about getting the full extend on that. It will require maybe just a little bit of spacing, but so long as we can get our projectile set up, I think that will do just fine for us. That gives us a moment to get back in and continue our offense. And Kagura does have quite a bit of versatility here, between getting to do side switches and command grabs. What's also interesting is the command grab here can be cancelled into his specials, although that only really is both charge inputs. You can try to do a flash kick, but you probably can't charge that off of a command grab unless you hold it for here a little while. Because that one is actually started off of his neutral drive button. Yeah. So in order to get that one to actually have the flash kick on it, you have to hold that. And then do it on the first hit, since you can't do it on the second. So, drive hold down. Yeah, that's relatively impractical. Getting better with Naruto's dash cancel commands. Kagura actually also has dash cancels, interestingly enough, off of his overdrive. Or, nah, what is it called? Nah, it is called overdrive in this game. Interesting. Aren't overdrives the names of specials and Guilty Gear? I wonder why they have such different names between all these different games. Like, most fighting game people just refer to these terms with meter or HP or supers and stuff like that. But I don't know why so many games are concerned with giving them their own names. Supposed for the aesthetics of making things look cooler. It's also going to be very, very weird. You'll see a lot of our attacks end with a flash kick input. The issue with that is sometimes it side switches and sometimes it doesn't, so that messes up our charge inputs quite a bit. That's going to be hard to get done. We might just mostly have to rely on neutral and some easier, more intuitive combos we don't want to drop. The Blazblue character powers are called drives, that's the reason why. In this case, yeah, it sort of makes sense given that everyone's drive button has a unique character-specific function. For Kagura, it's his stances. For other characters, it might even have some entire different plan going along with them. Some of them are simple, a lot of them are easy. Sort of akin to a special button, perhaps, in a lot of other games. A, B, and C are mostly just the usual anime fighter buttons. Light, medium, and heavy, so on and so forth. Alright, looks like our tournament is starting. Let's go ahead and check that bracket. Head over to that challenge link. Come on, load faster. I need to know who I'm up against. Alright, I guess we'll do that again. Perhaps on a different web browser. There we go, I think that one's working. Load everything up here, and who is our first opponent? Oh, wow! I'm actually further up in the bracket. I don't have a first match to be doing this against. We are against a Bakushu. Must be a newcomer. We might stand a chance. Da, 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 da. Alright, we will have a formal announcement when our first set of matches actually begins. Since we are a little higher in the bracket, we do have some more time since we still need to even wait for some other characters to finish their matches. Or other VTubers. But let's be honest, VTubers are essentially their own characters. Could you imagine the VTuber fighting game? Don't get any ideas, it's not happening because 1, it would be licensing hell, and 2, lots of VTubers actually quit after about a year or 2. The average runtime, or the expected runtime of making a game should be about 3 years. Even if the biggest company's out, you dig Izanami's aesthetic. Very interesting, she is actually an artificial human. I picked her as the training dummy because I hate her and she is not fun to fight against. You know what? Let's actually take a browse through the character select screen since I'm definitely not going to download any other combos before we begin. So, the discussion we can have here before our first match is trying to solve our character crisis. Kagura is the character I mostly picked and have trained the most time with. Although a close follow-up would be our local giant science boy here, Iron Tiger. Of course, you know how much I love the glowing glasses aesthetic, and his are in a similar vein. Very smart, very large, very muscular boy. But, unfortunately, he's a grappler, and I don't like grapplers. Da-da-da. Looks like they're starting the stream matches, but they're not starting the actual winner's circle just yet. Welcome, by the way, Avid Author. Blaze Warrior I know plays Naoto, who uses, I believe it was some sort of blood-related attacks. I've never actually checked his moveset very much. But he looks like a very fast rushdown character. Who else was I interested in? 9 is interesting. She crafts her special attacks out of using her other attacks. Her drive functions very, very differently in that it is linked specifically to the other moves that she's using. I like characters that have a lot of moves, and essentially, 9 might technically have the most specials. About, what would that be, 12 of them? Just from mixing between other attacks. It's called Blood Edge. Basically, he can turn his blood into a weapon. Ah, yes, the Edgelord character. Black and red, what else would you expect? Not affiliate yet, you forgot that, not to rub it in or anything. I actually don't have much activity on Twitch. Over the past few... I'd say over the past month or so, I probably got more... I got more followers on Twitch than on YouTube, funny enough. Most of my regulars are showing up on YouTube, and I've had a few new people show up on Twitch, but only a few people have come here for recurring streams. Right, you simulcast to YouTube. Let me actually bring the chat a little bit higher up here, just under the names here. You can see in the bottom left corner of your screen there is an icon that signals who's speaking. I might give that a little bit more room. Going to have to keep an eye on the tourney chat here, just to make sure. Ah, this will take a while. People are still trying to figure out how to get these lobbies to work. Ah, who else? S is pretty simple and straightforward. I know one of my friends is very fond of her. She has kind of a Shota clone moveset, but she also creates little rune crests, which create delayed hitboxes. So she has some pretty versatile pressure. Bullet's interesting. She has a kind of half rushdown, half grappler set, and a lot of homing attacks. Very dynamic, very explosive, and very fun. Broham. I know you love your gorilla characters, which Azrael is the resident gorilla character in this game. In fact, well, I think you might recognize one of his palettes. Does this one look familiar at all to you? He has a teleport dash and basically only close-range normals, but unlike Slayer, he's very hard to punish on the offense, so if you were looking for a gorilla character, this character is as gorilla as they come. Turns blood into weapon, reminds me of Krona from Soul Eater, if you know how that is. I actually don't watch anime, despite what you'd expect from the anime boy Avatar. So, while I have seen a little bit of Soul Eater, just maybe 5 or 6 episodes out of the first season, I've not formally given that a watch, or a read. Most of the anime references you'll make, if they're not referencing video games or Japanese culture in general, I might miss. I don't actually read manga or watch anime myself. Ah, we got pings. Winners round 1 and round 2 can go if you weren't called to stream. Alright, let's go ahead and see if we can get ourselves a lobby up. Also an alternate version of the main character of Ragnar the Blood Edge. Wasn't he from one of the Blazblue visual novels? I know that's where a number of these characters came from. Network mode. In fairness, do you think most VTubers are anime aesthetic? Ah, there we go. I play my boy Kagura. I don't know if there's any specific color scheme for him that works best. The original one might actually be the closest to the colors we were looking for. Wonder if any of them have the red hair. Ah, just this one? You know, that might be closest. I think we'll go with that one. Confirm. Oh, I'm not looking for rank match. Online lobby. Great, how are we doing it this time? I think it's just player match. There we go. Create room. Capacity 2, since we're only going to have to worry about two players at once. Invitation slots? Let's go with 1. No, 0. Winner's tourney finder. Two rounds, 99 seconds. Looks like everything else is stock. Now we should have a... where is it? Shortcut? Oh, no. Invite friend. No. How do we get the passwords out of here? This actually? I haven't messed with the lobbies in this game before. Hold on. Ah, we gotta fix this one. Ah, we already have someone else setting up the lobby before us. Indeed, Baku. So, let's get our first match under our belt. Confirm entry. Rock and roll, let's get this going. S. At least I generally know what this game plan's going to be, so we have to play defensively. No. In this case, we play offensively. Characters with longer range we are trying to approach, and characters that we can outrange, we actually try to get to come to us. Let the intro play. So, we'll mostly have to deal with long-range normals and projectiles, which, once we get in, we'll have to rely on most of our mix-ups. Kagura, being the ladies' man, makes his scientific analysis of his female opponents before fighting, which is what all the little green crosshairs were supposed to represent. Oh, that's an overhead. So we're fighting someone who actually knows how to play this game. So this is what our entire night's basically going to be like. Well, we need to make sure we never get pushed into the corner because we don't know how to fight with disadvantage. Okay, that's sweet. And so it begins, again. Well, that's how every single one of our matches is going to go tonight. Dates. That's what she's asking about. Yes, specifically the female characters, only the female characters. Against a lot of the, smaller ones, he gets confused. Ah, it's still on 10. You know, I never really played enough of this game. Maybe it's something I should pick up. But I already don't actually play Strive offline anymore. Been trying to get busy with a whole bunch of other nonsense. Maybe I should. Would you like to see fighting games return as a mainline thing on this channel? I know it's a favorite of Broham. Guess that's not a frame trap. The most important thing about a new game is figuring out when it's your turn. So I don't know how long these block strings go. That's not the reversal. Got it. I was hoping we could get that command grab out. Alright, she can do that in the air. Right, she has a DP. You like this game's visuals a lot. It's a very, very pretty game. I still prefer Guilty Gear's aesthetic in general, but this one does have a lot of really fancy stuff going on, and I enjoy it. Alright, let's pop out of here real quick. So, on defense, he actually wasn't that good. Mostly it looks like he was labbing combos, which is something we definitely need to focus on. Although neutral and really the biggest part is knowing when your block strings are, or when your opponent's block strings are over. With S, it might be ambiguous, as she has a lot of resets with the delayed hitboxes from her crests. So, let's see if we can get back to at least our bread and butter to at least know when we have our main stuff going on. Should we ever win neutral? Alright, so it's BB2C, that. The charge input on that is very, very weird. Just like me to pick the character with the most unconventional control scheme to try to play. We did get a very good hit with that armor move in there. I think it's mostly a case of having to get the actual practice in, and an understanding of Kagura's combo theory. So the armor move here is actually very functional as an anti-air, because it blocks against mids and highs. Go ahead, check that bracket, see if our next match is coming up. Aw, Zen already got knocked out. Shame. Match reporting. Okay, it has been refreshed. We actually had one of the quickest losses in the tournament. Now, just so long as I can get this done, we can get some understanding of his block strings. I think at least just setting a basic CPU to fight us. Training dummy, there we go. Computer. Let's go ahead and set you up a little bit, just so we can try to make sure we get to do something off of us getting actual advantage. Although I can't really talk while I'm learning a new game. Right, we cannot flash kick, so I'll have to get that out of my head. Luckily, I don't normally play characters that have invincible reversals, so I might not have any bad habits to be picked up there. We do at least get some good block strings and frame traps out of that. Right, that's not strike invincible until actually the move comes out. So on and so forth. This game also did just get rollback netcode if this was something you were interested in picking up, Roham. I'm sort of mashing buttons. Let's go ahead and turn that off for a moment. So the weirdest thing I've been trying to get over with Kagura is just how unusual and poor his neutral is. You'll see this is his 5A, 2A, so those are exactly what you'd expect, a quick backhanded fist. His B moves also are incredibly stubby and short-ranged. And then he has his incredibly long-ranged C normals, so his neutral is very incongruent, and that's probably the biggest thing we'll have to get used to. I might actually fare better with Tiger. I know he follows a lot more conventions. But I'm going to have to stick with this character if I want to at least learn with him. Because I refuse to play a grappler. Looking. Ah, alright, so we do have instructions for setting up a formal room in here now. Good thing that we have a look at that. Check that, bracket. Doesn't look like we have any more matches just yet. I think we can actually go into training mode inside of a lobby room, so I will have one set up and ready to go for whenever our next match shows up. We will check that announcement. Losers can go all the way until round 5. How do you feel about music in this game? There's a few bangers, but overall, I don't have much of an affinity for, I'd say 70% of the music tracks in here. It is it does have a lot of variety, but I am more partial to the energetic sort of rock music, which is there for quite a few character themes, but not for all of them. That's one of the reasons I'm so fixated on Guilty Gear the rest of the time. I love just about every song in that soundtrack, except Birthday Train. Let's see if we can get that little icon pinned. There we go. I will want that in the browser, just in case. So, create room with the desired settings, invitation slots. 1. Open Steam overlay. That isn't showing on... Okay, that isn't showing up on stream. Just had to double check. Click your profile picture. Where's that showing up? Ah, right there in the friends list. Oh, and click your profile picture. And then from your... Okay, so join game and then you get copy link address from there. Okay, we're ready for our next match when it shows up. I will keep an eye on that bracket over here in the corner. Now, can we end up in the training room from here? Doesn't look like it. Right? Hold on. Ah, we can't go into the training room from here, unfortunately. So we will close down this lobby. And then we'll head into training mode and practice some of our stuff again. This is probably going to be a short stream. I have a couple of assets I do want to get prepared for tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be our big 6-month anniversary, and I might even be hosting some Blazblue lobbies then, just trying to look to get some help for what's going on at that point in time. So, Kagura stuff. That's at least a good basic combo there, and it sets up a projectile for right when they get up, so they have to block that. We'll probably get a much better knockdown using the C version. The B version of our flash kick can actually be comboed off of, which is very interesting. The combos in this game are a lot more akin to other anime types in the sense that they are just... Well, you saw how long they went on with 4S. And flash, that charge input's gonna be a mess to learn. Yeah, I feel like that might not give them enough time to jump out. Wonder if we have any reversal options. I think this game came out before that was the case. Wake up. Neutral. There we go. Do you have enough time to block it, though? So he does get hit, right? Training dummy settings. Blocking after first hit. Correct. So he does get hit on quick wake up. What about the neutral one? That still looked like a quick one. Yeah, I think that does require them to block. And from there, I believe we get a couple more mix-ups. So, let's give that a try. And there, we can actually do a side switch on Wake Up, but we'll need that projectile out, remember that. And then we need to make sure we get the proper drive input out quickly enough. Ah, I think we have our next opponent coming up. Marlowe. Gotcha. Let's get in there. Try that again. I think it's... darn. Yep, third time, and it didn't connect. So we'll try our own. Not that this one works. Alright, I'll stick with Kagura, because he's still... In terms of his moveset, I like him a lot more than a number of the other characters I practiced. So, aesthetically, for our viewers in the class right now, would you like to see more of this, when I actually have it figured out on what to do? It's mostly a question of aesthetics, or just the general personality and appearance of the game, if that's something you're interested in. Is that the right person? Well, I might bring it back up. We already have one vote, yes? Alright, let's go. Funny how some people don't set their Steam names to the same as their VTuber names? That's always struck me as odd. Of course you're a Taokaka player. Taokaka is a very interesting sort of mobility-focused character, also Rushdown. But more importantly, she's sort of the Mei in this game, where she is essentially super obnoxious all the time. And being a cat girl, obviously every other word has to be nya. Go for it, 2C. Not the flash kick I was looking for. Oh, missed. Projectile goes out. And we don't get to follow up on that. That was a knockdown. Oh, that still has a hitbox after all that time. Nice grab. And that's an overhead. Well then, let's go ahead and get on to our second match then. Prepare 100 meals right away. As much as I'd love to help citizens in need, I don't think I can pull that off. Rock it again. My promise to myself was just to make sure we could at least go 1 to 2, which, well, that might be where we're ending up here. Rock and roll. Kagura just has so many fancy versatile combos, that's really why I'm wanting to learn him. You can cancel any of his stance attacks into a different stance, so he has a lot of flexible options. Get this out. Oh. No, get this off me. Come here. Does this catch? It does. By the hair of my chinny chin chin. Ah, I should have done the other one. That's a side switch. Ah, the combo was just about over anyway. Overhead. That one also should technically dodge grabs, right? Since he's in the air. So we do have a lot of high-risk, high-reward options to open up our opponent. Believe that was correct. Match reporting. Kagura is so handsome. Yeah, he's an absolute favorite of mine. I didn't anticipate we'd be done with that one yet. Let's see, loser of 23. It seems like one of those should be underway, right? Welcome, Usagi. So glad to see you. Class, this is Usagi. He's another VTuber. Might be potential room for a collaboration in the future. Although I do have to spend basically the next roughly 18 hours getting things ready for our 6-month celebration tomorrow. Okay, we're still waiting on the next match to show up. So, sit back, relax, and we will figure out what we're doing in the training lab a little bit more. Uh-oh, back to the lab again. We messed up. Back to the lab again. Just always have to be looking off to the side to make sure that I'm paying attention. Don't want to end up missing a match. So, fundamentals are okay. Mostly it's a case of me not having enough knowledge on defense and muscle memory on offense. We have a lot of learning that we need to do for us to be good at this game. Those are some very strong S's. I gotta dial it back a bit. Sometimes I do run out of breath when using the Xander voice, and I think that actually might be because I do exhale a lot when I'm speaking. And most of my voice is coming from my throat rather than through my nose. English is a nasal language, so most of your voice is actually done through the nose, as much as of a surprise as it might seem. That might be, since I'm drawing it more of it from my throat, that might be why I end up getting such strong S's. I don't notice it myself usually, but I also haven't had anyone comment on it, so maybe it only happens occasionally. That is part of the more feminine cadence of the voice here. Try that again. Alright, bread and butters. We aren't getting very close often, are we? We do need to get in the habit of using BB, basically 5B, 5B. That is a low-mid mix-up, which has a very interesting property of 6B, or just the second hit of 5BB, is jump cancelable. So, low, mid, high, if we do an instant overhead off of that. Or, low, mid, low. Roughly the same amount of timing between them, so it's something that the opponent will have to pay a lot of attention to. We don't get much reward off of the instant overhead though without an RC, which in this game are referred to as rapid cancels. But this game essentially does have the old-styled Roman cancels from Guilty Gear XX. They're not like the ones in Exard and nothing like the ones in Strive. We also don't want to do that one in the corner because in the corner it basically always side switches. What is our best combo then? It's probably not going to make any use of 5D into C. Simple enough. We get any number of 5As. Oh wow, that only cancels into itself up to 3 times. You can see I'm still mashing A and it doesn't go any further. See if we can do that off the maximum amount. The issue we have here is because 5B and 5A basically have the same range. In fact, 5B is even shorter. There's ranges where 5A will hit, which this is actually a very good jab. Only issue is that it whiffs on every croucher except the big guys. In retrospect, that's a lot like Gold Lewis's jab then, isn't it? Since it's an excellent move on the frame data that does whiff on crouchers. We might just want to focus on doing 5B for any of our opening up opponents at close range. Yeah, that is right. I think in the corner our route might be... That'll work, but I think we can get the other one off of that. Let's do it. I don't remember the names of all these, but all of its different stance attacks have very special names for them. Ah, we can combo that, and then we should have enough room for a flash kick right afterwards. If we get the timing right. So the overhead here, which is 2D and then A, does leave him in the air for a little bit, and he can still cancel his attacks. But you'll notice, he's in the air for a little bit when he does that. You can use his drive in the air, but none of his moves have air versions. So whenever you do hit one of the buttons, he jumps to the ground, and you can angle it forward or backwards. So you do have some cheeky cross-up opportunities where, say, if you get this, you can do either going behind them or going in front of them. Ah, our next match is coming up. Sol Abamba. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a room set up. Network. Player match. Catch me a link. Indeed. Looks like things are ready to go here. I think I am gonna have to do a lot more Strive playing, since we are falling behind and getting rusty on that game too. There's a lot of new stuff we can be doing in this channel, and I do have some very interesting plans that I might try to fit in for the end of December. Might try to see if I can fit in one dev stream in that time. A Platinum player, interesting. Platinum is the Faust of this game. She uses a lot of RNG sort of attacks. That's her entire drive, which is pulling out a randomly selected weapon and getting to use that for her next set of attacks. If you thought Guilty Gear was weird, Blazblue I'd say is even weirder. Yeah, you'll see he performs his analysis here, and then he gets a little concerned. So, we at least have some hope for Kagura here. He's not a Smash player, after all. Oh, that's not the armor I was wanting. That is not the attack I wanted. Perhaps the Heavy Slash version would have been better. We can expect our opponents to be very mobile basically all the time, so we'll need to prepare for that accordingly. Ooh, we could have actually flooded above her with that one. Ah, that doesn't give the armor. Shame. Get off me. Ah, not the input I wanted. I wanted to get the super out there, which actually might have won. It's not a reversal, but it is one of the fastest supers in the game. I think it's essentially 6-frame startup. So it might be coincident with a lot of jabs out there. Go again, we might still have a chance. Rocket one more time. Or two if we get a win. One of the most important parts will be getting familiar with our buttons, which will take, well, a lot of practice. Ah, his neutral is so weird. And there we go with the weakness of charge inputs. You don't know when they're ready. And again, his normals don't cancel from A, so, even for that reason alone, I might actually drop him. Oh, that's an overhead. Right, that's an invincible startup attack. And we'll have to deal with that. Ah, so close. We could have had a chance there. Ah, well. That is 1-2 for the tournament then. Just as planned. So we got one win in there. Go ahead and check here. Match reporting. That actually did take up an hour. Seems most of the time was a lot of people trying to figure out what they were going to be doing for the tournament. Now, I'd love to stay here and discuss characters, but I might be here for a few hours in that case. I would look forward to doing that tomorrow on stream just to fill out some more time, so as early as it is for even a sub-hour stream doing the speedrun here, we did participate in the tournament and get a gauge of where a lot of the other players stand. Most importantly, I'm going to need a good, 30 hours in the next week to be able to keep up with them. So, I'm going to play some of this game offline, but I mostly have to spend basically the rest of the evening trying to get things prepared for the big stream tomorrow. We have a number of things on the list. Strive is going to be one of them, but we'll also be doing a complete Noida run. Depending on how long both of those take, we will also be opening up CentralFiction lobbies, as well as possibly doing a Dead Cells run, so we'll go through a number of the favorites on this channel. Let me know in the Discord if there's still any other games you were looking forward to. Otherwise, let's see. Did we have any other recommendations? You know, I'll download a Toho game just in case we have enough time to get to that. We will mostly be seeing what we can occupy a good 8 hours with. Stream, I'm thinking will start at, let's say, 4 p.m. CST, which is 2 hours before our usual time and 3 hours before tonight's stream. I'm going to have to get to work on assets and preparation for that immediately, so class is formally dismissed. You have a very quick lecture on this Friday. Thank you all for your attendance, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye, Noob Pro. Bye, Blaze Warrior. Usagi, Broham, Avid Author.